I call that they don't like to see you winning. They wanna see you in a penitentiary. I need me a little baby who gon' listen. Girl, I don't wanna be the one you ignorant. My mama told me, boy, make a decision.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Clutch Talk podcast /YouTube/ We Do It All. As always, I'm your host, John. Real nice to have everyone on here. My brother, Junior, how you doing, man?
Doing good. How's everyone doing?
They're happy to have you on
crowd's
here.
Just responding.
Happy to have you on here. And today we got a real special guest on here, man. We got my guy Hirsch on here, man. You know, all throughout high school, me and Hirsch had tons of basketball debates, man. So it was only right that we got Hirsch on here, man. Big Warriors fan. Go ahead, introduce yourself to the people, Hirsch.
I start off with Go Dubs and Steph Curry MVP frontrunner, 100%.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm ready to go today, man. First time ever doing this type of thing, so I'm really excited.
That's good. That's great. We're really excited to have you on, Hirsch. So I mean, if there's no further delays, you guys just ready to just jump straight into this?
I'm ready.
I'm down.
Let's do this. So before I start, I do want to ask you guys a question. So to you guys, right? What defines a sixth man? Like what roles and what attributes does a person have to be a sixth man? And you can just like throw me some ideas.
To me, a sixth man is somebody who's coming off the bench, obviously, but is producing starter quality play, right? So somebody who would be a starter on almost any other team, but on this team, they happen to be a sixth man and they're producing that type of quality. So that's pretty much what I started coming off the bench is almost what I call a sixth man. That's literally what it is, right? It's the sixth man. Like if it was supposed to be a starting six, he'd be right there. You know, so that's who I got.
Okay, definitely. How about you, Hirsch?
Yeah, I agree with Junior. I think for me, sixth man involves just being more than like a normal bench player, like kind of just coming off the bench, being that number six, just coming off, playing well, putting up starter numbers, as well as being the leader of the bench core. So
yeah, that's a good point too, leading that bench unit.
Definitely. For you guys hit it on the nail, but for me, only thing I would add is just are they scoring like effectively? You know, if they're just throwing up shots and taking away shots from the actual starters, you know that can't be. So they have to be scoring very effectively. They have to be coming off the bench with energy. You know, you guys mentioned coming off the bench is huge, but I think that coming off the bench with energy on offensive end, on defensive end, and also understanding your role, understanding where you fit in. You know what I'm saying? You're not the star. You're not the worst player, but you're somewhere in the middle. So understanding that role, not doing too much, not doing too little, and of course, finally, you know, being able to actually produce wins or help your team win. To me, that's what defines a six man. Okay, all right. So if there's no other comments, man. So let's just jump straight into this. I'm gonna go ahead and kick it off with my number 5, and I got Shake Milton, man, in my number 5. Right now he's averaging 14 points per game, 2 rebounds, 3 assists. Is shooting 87% from the free throw line, 30% from 3, and 45% from the field. You know, Shake creates a lot of offense for the bench. You know, when he's just out there, he gets buckets, man. Like he leads the bench in scoring. You know, this year he's getting a lot more comfortable being able to run that pick and roll. And you know, I'm personally a big believer in being able to look at history, read how history went, and you can predict how the future went. Shake Milton's current coach is Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers also coached Montrezl Harrell, who won the sixth man last year, Lou Williams, who's tied for first place for most sixth man of awards ever, and Jamal Crossover, who's also tied for first for most six man award, right? So that definitely helps Shake's a little six man stock. He's scoring kind of efficiently. I do like that 45% from the field, but 30% from 3 is pretty low when you think about the Sixers need shooters on that team to be able to win, and like 30% is what Giannis shot last year. He does understand his role very well, though. I've never heard Shake tripping about why he's not starting or anything like that. So that's definitely good, and he definitely is helping them win. They have the first best record in the East and the second best record in the entire league. But a knock I gotta give on him, man, is he doesn't bring that energy. You know, when you watch Shake Milton, he does not come on the court and change the tempo of the game. So the reason why I have him in fifth place is because, you know, he lacks that energy. He needs to shoot a little better. And when other stars like Joel and Ben play on the court, he doesn't really play up to the same level. He only kind of gets buckets when it's just him. And again, man, he's missed 6 games. You know, that's tough. So that's why I went with Shake in my fifth spot. But talk to me, who you guys got in fifth?
That's a good shout, honestly. Like I had him in my top 5, but I had to pull him out just because he barely missed out. So he gets my honorable mention. You know, like you said, I mean, you hit all the points. Sixers got the best record in the East, and that's one of the most important things. But he just barely missed out. So in fifth place, I actually got Terrence Ross. Ooh. So he's averaging 15 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists, which is solid off the bench. Not necessarily the rebounds and assists, but the 15 points a game. 35% from 3, 41% from the field. And out of my top 5, he's actually 3rd in scoring. But the problem is that the Magic are in 12th place in the East, which is pretty bad, right? Especially when it's in the East. It's not necessarily his fault, right? But if he was a six-man of the year candidate, his team should at least be in the playoffs, right? Because think about it, you're not even getting a starting spot on a non-playoff team in the East. So I think it's going to obviously hurt his stock a little bit. But overall, though, I still think he's putting up solid enough numbers to be able to land in that 5th spot, and he's got the individual performances to get him that spot. So that's who I got in 5th.
How about you, Hirsch?
Yeah, I got Terrence Ross as well. I mean,
all right.
He's been balling out this year. I mean, just off the get-go, like the last 7-8 games, I think he's almost scored 20 in every single one of them. He's really been providing minutes, providing some stability towards that team. Like JR said, not a good team in terms of standings. Like I said, like kind of just going off of that, kind of just seeing how the Magic, not that good of a team right now. They can probably play a little bit better. Like they have a lot of injuries as well. Like Eric Gordon's out. Cole Anthony's been out for a little bit. I feel like he as well could be pretty good. But in terms of Terrence Ross, I just think he's been providing a lot for that team that they would be missing if he was not on the team.
Right.
Definitely.
Yeah. No.
Definitely.
That ticks all the boxes for 6-man of the year. So.
And you know, this episode is gonna be a good episode because y'all got Terrence Ross at 5. That's all I'm gonna say. But let me go ahead and move on. Hirsch don't know this yet, but Hirsch, every single Clutch Talk episode, I'm due for one hot take. One hot take, and that might be it. Stay tuned. But all right, so let me move on to my 4th spot, man. I'm going my guy, Montrez, man. The 6-man of the year last year, y'all. So right now, Trez is averaging 13 points per game, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block, 1 steal, shooting 73% from the free throw line and 64% from the field. Y'all, if energy was a person, it would be Montrezl Harrell. Like he provides so much energy, right? He provides that entire Lakers team with so much energy, and he provides Lakers team with defense, especially that bench unit. He provides them defense, rebounding. You know, he has that low post, and I could face you up mid-range game, and like I just mentioned, the man just comes with so much energy when he enters the game. Whatever momentum that the game was going, when he comes in, he changes momentum. If the Lakers are playing sluggish for whatever reason, when he comes in, whether it's defense or offense, and dives on a couple loose balls, that gets his teammates motivated to come on, let's play hard. And that right there is a real intangible thing that is very, very important for the 6-man. And also, like, Trez is a big reason why the Lakers are ranked number 1 defensive rating right now in the league. Trez is number 1 right now in the league for taking the most charges. And like I just mentioned, like he does a lot of intangibles. It's a lot of eye test things. And, you know, my next point, my brother, Junior, man, you already know what I'm going to say, man. The best type of ability, what is it?
Availability.
Exactly, man.
30 for 30.
That man has not missed a single game this season yet, man. So that's definitely helping his stock a lot. And going back to my sixth man of the year equation, right? Does he score effectively? Yes, Montrez is actually averaging. He's actually averaging 64% from the field, which is higher than anybody else on this list. But everyone else is a guard. Understandable. He does bring energy on both ends, the defensive end and the offensive end. Does he understand his role? Very, very well. He understands that he's not the top guy there, but he understands that he has to do a lot for them to win. And is he helping the Lakers win? Very much. Like, honestly, Trez was definitely a personal favorite. I wanted to put him a little higher, but I just couldn't because of like the players above him just have better numbers. But Trez is definitely the just everything you can ask out of a six man. Yeah, I'm very, 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 very happy to have him here on my list, man. But talk to me, who you guys got in fourth spot?
That's a solid pick, man. I like all the points you made. Trez is a great pick, reigning sixth man of the year. I like that pick so much that I don't have him in fourth. In fourth, I actually have Chris Boucher. So he is interesting because he made my most improved player list last week in fourth place, right? And he's taken fourth place here again. I think the Raptors took a jump from out of the playoffs to sixth in the East, which is actually a little higher than I even expect them to finish the season. So in my opinion, they're overperforming. Not granted, the season isn't done, but they're really starting to find their footing in the season a little bit. And I think that's in part thanks to Boucher's solid play. He's averaging 14 points, 7 rebounds, 2 blocks, and shooting 53% from the field, which are all very solid numbers. And he's been a big contributor off the bench, right? When you got Ibaka and Gasol gone, you really force somebody to step up. And I think he's been somebody who stepped into that role, and he's playing it really well. He's not starting, but he's playing it really well. So I think all that, kind of aggregates to getting Chris Boucher in fourth place. He's been solid, and I think he's one of the few players that's in the running for 2 awards, which is most improved and sixth man of the year. So I got him in fourth, but I want to know what you guys think and who you got in fourth, Hirsch.
Yeah, I actually got Boucher as well. I'm surprised.
All right.
This list together, man. It's kind of
they were working on the list, y'all. They were working on the list. They were on FaceTime, like, all right, which one?
Which one
we were scheming it up for sure. But yeah, Boucher came out of nowhere this year. I was so shocked to see like the start of the year that he had. He was going off. I play fantasy basketball, and I just added him like as like one of my roster spots, and I saw that he was just balling out like almost every night in the beginning of the season, and took a little dip in numbers, like no lie, but like he's been consistent, and that's exactly what you need to be a sixth man. And like he's just been averaging points, getting all those blocks and rebounds as well, really helping the team out. Raptors are not looking as good as they were in prior years when they had Kawhi, or even last year for the most part. But he's really been a help for them off the bench, just because they're not that deep of a team. I feel like they lost a lot of depth as well, like within the last year. So I think Boucher's come out of nowhere and really helped them out. And that's why I put him at number 4. And also just because they're contending too, which is why I put him above Terrence Ross as well.
Yeah,
definitely.
No, that's true. He checks the team box where Ross isn't checking that quite yet. But that's a solid pick, man. I like your list so far. 2 for 2.
Yeah, yours as well, man.
All right, so moving on to number 3, and here's my hot take for the day. I've got T-Raw at number 3, man. I had to go with Terrence Ross at number 3. Right now, averaging 15 points per game, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, one steal, shooting 32% from the 3 and 40% from the field on 13 shots per game. And Terrence Ross is actually a pretty underrated defender. On average, players who are being guarded by Terrence Ross are shooting 34% from the field. He leads the Magic in steals. He's third in the NBA, like how Junior mentioned, in bench scoring. But like, man, you watch the Magic play. The man is a microwave. Like he comes out there with just intense amount of energy on defense and the offense. Like he is not as much as Trez, but definitely is a momentum changer when he comes to the games. Right? He definitely is. He can create opportunities for himself. Right? Like you can just give him the ball and say, "Go get a bucket, Terrence," and he'll get a bucket for you 10 times out of 10. But a great thing about him is that he doesn't just do that. He can also run the offense. Like every Magic game I watch, he's constantly moving on the court. He kind of reminds me of Rip Hamilton in a way. He's always moving off court, moving off screens, shooting off down screens, shooting off design plays. I think that definitely is a positive for him. He actually finishes most games. I think he's kind of in that like James Harden when he was in Oklahoma situation where like he's a sixth man, but he really is a starter. Like how Junior mentioned, he definitely has like starter potential, and he's second in the whole team for most minutes per game. And that just really shows you, goes to show like even his coach knows that he has starter potential. But again, let me talk about let me talk about my six-man equation. You know, does he bring energy? Yes, definitely. He brings energy on the defensive end and offensive end. That's a check for me. Does he understand his role? Yes, very well. I've never heard Terrence Ross like complaining about starting, but the man is not winning, right? That he's not producing wins, and that is what hurts. And to be honest with you, he's not shooting the ball very effectively either.
Right.
Only 32% from the three and 40% from the field. Everyone else on this list is 40, 45 and above. If 45 or 45 and above. So that definitely isn't very effective. So that's why he had to fall to my number 3. But the reason why like I couldn't put him in 5 is because you know he's going off and scoring right now. He's definitely doing this thing on the offensive end and the defensive end. So you know I had to tip my hat off to him and give him the 3rd spot. But who you guys got in number 3?
That's a good pick. That's a good pick with Terrence Ross. I think he's solid, but I had him in my list, but I just had to drop him because, you know, the team's just not there, just quite Definitely. There. Now, ironically, the next player is a player that not Hirsch. I don't think you're going to have this player now. So I think our list might be a little different here, but let's see. This player is ironically on a team that's also not doing very good. But like Terrence Ross, he's a player is technically a 6-man by the rules, right? Because the rules is you have to start half of the games or less, right? And this player has actually started 10 out of his 22 games. So you already know who it is?
I don't know who you got.
He started 10 of his 22 games. I initially had him in 2nd place, but he had to move him to 3rd, and that's Eric Gordon. So that's who I went with. So let's start with the positives first as to why I have him in 3rd place. First of all, he's been averaging 19 points a game while shooting 46% from the field, 35% from 3. So to be able to get a bench player pitching in 20 points a game is pretty impressive, right? Imagine being able to go to your one guy on your bench and be able to have him contribute almost 20 points every single game. That's pretty good, right? I could honestly put him much higher just because of that. But I have to, you know, also talk about the negatives and a few knocks against him. First of all, like we said, he's on the Rockets. They're 11-17, 13th in the West, right? And I get it that they lost Harden, but they still have Christian Wood when he's available and John Wall. His availability has been good, but not as good as the other 2 players that I have above him, right? So he's, like I said, he's played 22 out of the 29 possible games this season. And it was just like at first I didn't even have him on my list just because I'm like, man, he started 10 out of the 22 games, but technically the rule is half and under, so I kept him on. But I think that I just couldn't bring him up to higher than 3rd because of those knocks that I mentioned. And I think that one thing though that is going to contribute to him averaging 20 points a game is the fact that he does get almost starter minutes, right? So that's going to be the knock against him, not as a player, but as a candidate for 6th man of the year, right? 6th man of the year, it's impressive when you're putting up the numbers you're putting up while getting minutes off the bench, right? And I think that's what kind of makes a more impressive bid for me. So that's why I got him in 3rd. But I want to know what you guys think about that and who you got in 3rd, Hirsch. See if it's Eric Gordon too.
Unfortunately, it's not. I got Montrezl Harrell at number 3. So just for him, I mean, he did the little LA swap. He changed out the blue, red, and white jersey for that purple and yellow.
Purple and
yeah, I mean, like just in general, like he's been their number 1 guy all along. Off the bench, just averaging like multiple points a game, like tons of points a game, getting the rebounds, the blocks, all that. And he's a dog, man. He works hard every single second that he's on the court. And just for him, I mean, he provides that Laker bench with so much just talent as well as leadership. Yeah. I think that in terms of what we define the 6th man as, he's pretty high up there in terms of that list, and he pretty much checks out all the boxes.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's a good shout. That's a good shout. Yeah, he does provide a lot for the Lakers bench. So it definitely, when we talk about the Lakers being deep, Harrell's a big reason why. So absolutely,
definitely.
Yeah, defense wins championships too, man, and he definitely does that.
Definitely,
Yes,
he plays some good defense. Jenner, to talk about your pick with Eric Gordon, it's funny because I originally had Eric Gordon at number 3, like 10 minutes before we started recording. But then I'm looking at my list, I'm like, man, but this T. Ross really deserves to be number 2. Like, he really not winning, and he's in the East, so I had to do that swap. But I originally had Eric Gordon at my number 3. So
which swapped my 3 and 2 as well. My 3 and 2 were originally swapped, but I swapped them out when I was writing. But initially, because every time I write these, I'll make like a top 5 and then I'll give the reasons. And I initially had it that way, but I swapped it. You'll see who my second is, but okay. It was close though for sure.
Okay, yeah, definitely. All right, so I'm excited. I'm definitely excited to hear you guys' top 2. So let me go ahead and kick off my number 2, and I got Eric Gordon, man. Like how Junior mentioned. We're talking about somebody coming off the bench, damn near averaging 20 points per game, man. In 19, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 84% from the free throw line. And what's really impressive is the 35% from the 3 and 47% from the field, man. Like right now, he's first on all bench scoring. He has the best field goal percentage for all guards coming off the bench. He provides instant offense for the Rockets. Like they can use him as a spot up shooter. He can go get his own bucket. He can run the design players. He can bring the ball down court. And honestly, almost every night, Eric Gordon defensively matches up. I wouldn't say with the other team's best player, but with the other team's top 3 players every single night. But like how Junior mentioned, man, like, started 10 games, and that really, really hurts his stock. And to be honest with you, I almost didn't even put him on this list because of that. I really almost didn't. I was like, man, he don't even really deserve to be a 6-man like that. He started 10 games. Like everybody else on this list started like at most 2 or like 1, right? So he started. I almost didn't even put him. But then I'm like, man, like how Hove said, men lie, women lie, but numbers don't. He putting up numbers right now, like for a 6-man, right? So I was like, I can't just keep him off the top 5 for that. That would be disrespect, right? And then, but again, so let me go through my equation, right? Does he efficiently score? Yes, he's right now averaging the best field goal percentage off any guards coming off the bench and shooting the best 3-point percentage in anybody on this list besides number 1. Does he understand his role? Very well. I think the only reason why he's kind of on and off the starting is because they're trying to figure out what the best lineup is now without Harden. Does he bring energy? Definitely. A defensive end and an offensive end provides him with a lot of energy. But like how Junior mentioned, he's not winning. He's not winning. And for that, I cannot give him a notch over my number 1. But I definitely want to hear you guys' top 2. I'm real excited, man. So y'all go ahead and enlighten me, man.
That's a good pick. So Eric Gordon has won already the 6-man of the year, right? So that's another thing too, that like he's got experience in this role. But yeah, like you said, I couldn't put him above 2 for that reason. But it was close. But with 2, I actually went with Montrezl Harrell, and I'm gonna tell you why.
I like
Harrell in second place. So at first, I didn't actually. When I first made this list, Harrell was actually in 4th place. But as I wrote the reasons, I kind of moved them up, and I realized. Just number 1, I think we're all going to have the same number 1. He's just having an outstanding season, but I think Harrell's right. He's got that 2nd spot. So first, he's the reigning 6-man of the year. Not that matters for this year, but that's always it's a good title to carry. But he's been very solid for the Lakers coming off the bench, right? So despite him being 6'8", which is short for a big man, he plays like a big because of his basketball IQ and the way he uses his body and his energy. So it's like you said, John, the intangibles, right? So he's a very hateable player when he's on your team. Like I did not like him a bit when he was on the Clippers, right? But you're glad you have him when he's on your team. Kind of like a Draymond Green. You don't like Draymond Green if he doesn't play for your team, but when you have Draymond Green, you like to have him, So I'm sure Hirsch will relate on that one.
Oh yeah.
But I honestly like when the Lakers didn't re-sign Dwight, I said from the beginning, I think that's going to make a difference. And there, you can see, Marc Gasol's been good. He's been okay, but he's a different type of big. He's not a dominant physical big like Dwight or JaVale, right? He's a smart big. He's a passing big. He's a shooting big. So the Lakers are missing that dominant big like JaVale. And I think Trez is helping fill that gap, like JaVale and Dwight. And Trez is helping fill that gap. Obviously Trez is better than JaVale or Dwight currently. But he's not as big. But like I said, the way he plays makes him seem like a big and allows him to play that power forward position or a small ball 5. I know, John, you had mentioned on one of the players. I think it was for Eric Gordon. No, it wasn't for Eric Gordon. It was for the
I'll
name
tell
is
you.
escaping me now. I'm sorry.
I'll tell you the player, but what did I mention?
When you're talking about a player who isn't a starter but really is because he's closing out games, Terrence Ross.
Terrence Ross.
Right? Yeah, it was just escaping me, but like Trez, he could be a starter, right? If you look at the Lakers' best lineup on paper, it really should be Anthony Davis at the 5, Trez at the 4, LeBron at the 3, KCP and Schroeder, right? That could be, or if you want to, throw Kuzma in there, but that could really be the best starting lineup. But he's not in that starting lineup, and he understands his role, and he's playing it well, and so he's got quality to be there, but he's being able to come off the bench, bring that energy. So he's averaging, like you said, John, 13 points. 6 rebounds, a block, a steal. But what's impressive, this is 64.6% from the field.
Man.
That's second in the NBA, only to Rashawn Holmes, who's at 64.8, right? So it's just like there's literally 0.2% difference in field goal efficiency. If the season ended today, you'd actually have the 19th best all-time field goal percentage, right? So that's pretty insane. Pretty impressive for sure. And like you said, John, I even had it on my notes, so it's funny. Best type of availability, and this man hit a 30 for 30 every game this season, all 30 games he's played, right? And lastly, another thing that I've been factoring in my equations as well, and I mean, I guess I've had some players with bad team success, but it's a team success. And I think that's going to be a distinguishing factor for the top 2 players. So his team is sitting second in the West, and are title favorites amongst most people, even for some people who don't think they're the title favorite, they're at least top 3, right? I think Vegas has them as the favorites, but regardless, they're a good team. And I think that's in part, obviously, he's not the face of the franchise, but I think that's in part due to him being that energy player coming off the bench. When AD or Bron are getting rest, you're still able to have that sort of energy and continuity on the floor, and not just, just a bunch of sloppy second unit guys not getting it done and blowing leads and forcing the starters to end up playing 42 minutes a game, so I think that Montrez really fills that role of 6th man of the year. I really just don't have him in first because the first place player is just playing out of his mind, but but anyway, that's what I got. But I want to know if Hirsch has Gordon, because if he has Gordon, then we just really switched. But
you're 100% right. I got Eric Gordon number 2.
That's a good pick.
And honestly, I had him way lower on my list. I kind of switched up things while we were recording the first top 5, the first 5.
Uh-huh.
And I switched it mid meeting. So I just picked Gordon because he's putting up solid numbers. I mean, he's been helping the Rockets win games. Playing pretty much starter minutes, getting pretty much starter stats. I think the only thing that really knocks him is his injuries and how much he's been starting compared to other players.
Right.
So, and I mean his numbers don't lie either. He's putting up close numbers to who I think all of our number 1 is probably going to be. But he hasn't been playing a lot, and his team's not good either. So that's why I have him at number 2.
Definitely.
Yeah. No, that's solid. That's solid. He was a borderline pick just because of him basically playing a starter role, but barely meeting that qualification, right? So it was close for sure.
He meets this award every year. I feel like every single year when you think about 6th men, Eric Gordon is always up there. So
he's in the talks for sure.
Every single year, man. So all right. So now I'm real excited to hear y'all number 1, man. So let's go ahead and jump straight into this number 1. All right, y'all. So let's kick off this number 1. I'm sure we all have the same player, but man, I got a lot to say for my guy.
Say it, Taylor Horton Tucker. Say it, Taylor Horton Tucker.
I couldn't put THT, the baby goat. And not yet.
You're coming around on him though. That's good.
Not yet. But I had to go with an ex-Laker, my guy JC, and I'm not talking about no Jesus Christ. I'm talking about my guy Jordan Clarkson, man. Right? I like how Junior's been saying all episode, having a career high year, career high 18 points per game, career high 4 rebounds per game, 2 assists, 95% from the free throw line, career high 38% from 3, shooting 8 threes per game, career high 46% from the field. second in most bench NBA bench points to Eric Gordon. I read this stat that I wanted to share with you guys. So last year, 77% of Jordan Clarkson's shots came off an assist. This year, only 57% of his shot are coming off an assist, which proves to you like he can get his own bucket. Like he doesn't really need others to like set him up. He can go out there and get his own bucket, which is very, very, very important for a Sixth Man of the Year candidate.
Because they're playing usually with all second unit guys, so they need to be able to get their own shot.
Exactly. Continuing talking about Jordan Clarkson, like if there was a spark plug out there, he is it, y'all. Like on both ends, on the defensive end and the offensive end, but especially on the offensive end, man, he creates opportunities for himself like no other, especially this year. And this is real important because Quinn Snyder and the Jazz, like their starting five that they run is very like heavily revolved. Like they run a lot of plays, a lot of down screens, a lot of curl actions, a lot of all that. But JC comes in strictly for buckets. Like just that's it. He doesn't really run plays like that. Just give him the ball and kind of watch out. On this last game versus 76ers, like it just shows you how quick he heats up. He came off the bench, scored 12 points in 3 minutes, went 4 for 4 on threes. Like that right there is just like the momentum that will give you your team. Like if you're down, you're sluggish, you're not playing well. JC comes in and hits 4 for 4 threes. Like everyone's gonna be hyped. Everyone's gonna
microwave, right?
Yeah, he's a microwave. He's a real microwave. I also want to mention that Joe Ingles. He was recorded saying that he's never played with someone that accepts the six-man role better than Jordan Clarkson. He said Jordan excels and accepts the role. And my brother, what am I going to say, man? What's the best type of ability?
Availability.
Exactly, man. He has not
available.
And he has not missed a single game yet this season, man. So let me talk about my famous my famous Sixth Man of the Year equation. Does he effectively score? Extremely effective, yes. Does he bring energy on the defensive end and offensive end? Yes, on tons on offense. Does he understand his role? Yes. As we've seen Joe Ingles say, he ain't never seen nobody better, right? Is he on a winning team? Of course. The Jazz are killing this year. And I think that has a lot to do with him because he comes off the bench and provides them just a ridiculous amount of energy. So, man, I don't want to take all the points, y'all, but y'all go ahead and talk to me about JC because I know y'all got JC.
That's it, man. Like, it's not even close. I think this year, out of all the lists we made, this one I think is the most clear-cut one. It's the numbers speak for itself, right? 18.2 points a game, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, 38% from 3, 45% from the field. But we got to talk about his 40-piece this week, a 40-piece off the bench.
That's crazy.
And that's what I was going to say. Unlike Eric Gordon, he's putting up these numbers without starting a single game, not a single start, but he's been available for every single one. So he's been extremely solid. Also, unlike Eric Gordon, his team has the best record in the West and in the league, right? So, and that's honestly in significant part due to Clarkson's extremely good season off the bench. He fits that role so well. Like you said, I even have the Joe Ingles quote in my notes as well, because he's just, like you said, a player he's not seen a player that's been locked in so much and fits his role so well. He knows his role, he executes it perfectly, and I'm happy for Clarkson doing that, especially because that's another point for the Lakers scouting department, because it puts a smile on my face because he was the 16th pick in the second round. That's 46 overall, right? Most 46 overall players don't even last in the league, let alone be leaders for an award like Sixth Man of the Year. And all he cost the Jazz was Dante Exum and 2 future second-round picks, right? That's a fantastic return.
Man.
So honestly, like, shout out Jordan Clarkson. Shout out Lakers scouting department, and I think he's the easy pick for Sixth Man of the Year. I think Vegas has him at 75% chance of winning, right?
Wow.
So that's crazy, and his performances are backing that up. So that's my number 1 pick. So tell me why you got Taylor Horton-Tucker, Hirsch.
Oh yeah. So Jordan Clarkson, I actually got him at number 1, but yeah, I think you guys pretty much hit the nail on the hammer, and like, I don't know. He's been averaging a ton of points and like been providing a lot of depth to that team. I think what he's got, whatever everybody else doesn't have, his team's the best team in the NBA right now in terms of and all that. And he's been providing more than anybody ever thought he would. I was thinking about this all week, and I was like, there's no doubt in my mind that Jordan Clarkson is the front runner this year. And just to think about 2 years ago when he was on the Cavs, that trade, he got traded to the Jazz for Dante Exum, a 2022 second round pick and a 2023 second round pick. That speaks to volume of how well he's been playing this year, just because of how low that trade value was like 2 years ago. So
exactly.
He's been playing out of his mind though.
Definitely. He's been balling.
Fantastic return on a pick. Fantastic.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I felt bad for him even when he got traded from the Lakers. Like, I felt bad for him, and now he's coming back and putting up this season. Just makes me happy for him, you know.
I know he was our best player for a stretch there too. So
for a long time.
Because it wasn't this Jordan Clarkson. It was a different Jordan Clarkson. So that was a tough stretch for us Lakers fans. But I guess it's all good now.
Definitely. All right. Well, I like you guys' top 5, but like we've been doing every single episode,
consensus top 5 time.
At the end, we make a collective top 5. So let's get straight into this. So who you guys have in your 5th?
5 and 4, we got to go with mine and Hirsch's list. I think
because I'm in the minority.
Yeah. Well, but you don't even have Boucher in your list at all.
See, that's the thing I was about to say. Like, remember, y'all said that I snubbed him last week for most improved. I snubbed him this week for 6th man of the year as well.
Who was your 4th player that you had?
Trez.
No, we had Trez too.
No. Who was a player that I had that you guys? No, I had everybody because I had Terrence Ross. I had Terrence Ross at 3. Trez I had Shake. You guys didn't have Shake Milton.
Shake, yeah, he barely missed out.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, Shake's missing out, dog, because me and Hirsch got Ross and Boucher. So
Hirsch, you don't got.
We'll probably have to go Boucher 5th because you don't even have him, and Ross 4th because we all have him.
Okay, yeah. I like that. So we're going Boucher 5th, Ross 4th.
Okay, and then probably because you have Trez in 3rd, right?
I have Trez in 4th.
You have Trez in 4th. Hirsch has him in 3rd. I have him in 2nd. So we'll probably have to put him in 3rd because that's the median.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So Trez 3rd, which means you guys got Eric Gordon both 2nd. I got him 3rd, so he's going to go 2nd. And then JC, Clarkson. So
I like that.
It's going to be Clarkson, Gordon, Trez, Ross, and Boucher. So
okay. I'm glad we could come with a collective top 6 man of the year, man. So there you have it, everybody. That was our top 5 of the 6 man of the year. Hirsch, man, thank you very, very much for coming on. You were a great guest, Hirsch. We're real excited to have you back, man. You have any last words to say for the fans?
Yeah, John, I enjoyed my time today, man. This is the first time I've ever done this, and I'm enjoying it. So I got to get back on here at some point.
Definitely.
Sure. But you're going to have to put like a LeBron jersey back there or something if you want to get back on.
Oh, my God.
He's like, no way.
I got 2 of those up there, man. Got to get one.
Man. But yeah, man, that's it. Jenner, you got anything to say for the fans?
No, just appreciate you having me on as always. Always fun, always a blast. Really good.
As always, y'all make sure y'all go follow all the Instagrams. I'm gonna go ahead and put Hirsch's Instagram right there, right in his little bubble. Yeah, make sure y'all go follow that. Put Junior's Instagram right there, right in his little bubble. I'm gonna put the Clutch Talk Instagram right here. Y'all make sure y'all follow that, man. That's where we drop all episode updates. Anytime we're dropping episode, that's where we do NBA interactive polls all the time, man. Just some basketball fun, man. If you like basketball
content.
Exactly, man. But that's it, man. That's it for the show today. Hirsch, as always, man, you're the GOAT, man. Thanks for coming on, Hirsch.
John, it's a pleasure being here, man. It's been a long time, but I'm happy to be here.
Exactly, man. But that's it, though, y'all. If y'all ain't got nothing else to say, then we good, man. We could wrap this up. Y'all good?
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. As always.
All right, y'all.
Yeah, thank you, John.
It's all good. So, all right, y'all. We out of y'all. Clutch Talk out.
Peace.